Hi there, this is Cheryl. Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I want to give you a quick sketchbook tour. This sketchbook is a Royal Talens. It's about 8 by 10 art creation sketchbook. I started this sketchbook in the beginning of February. It's now the beginning of March, so I've come quite a ways for over a month. And before it got too big, I'm not quite completed yet, but I did want to just jump in and talk about the sketchbook and some of the things I'm finding out. I have been using this as a daily, my go-to, just to relax and do repetitive patterns and whatever occurs to me. And so I don't have a huge agenda for this, but just to open the page and go and grab whatever tool material that's interesting to me and just have some fun with it. So sometimes it's markers, sometimes it's wash, sometimes it's collage, sometimes I'm taping off the pages because then it kind of creates another dynamic on the paper to have this hard edge. I kind of like that. Sometimes everything just bleeds off the edge. Sometimes I'm floating these abstract shapes in the middle of a page. And then other times I'm using different materials together. This is a start. I think I started with some collage papers, and I really wanted to dive into this thing about collage today because I just started, just making some collage papers with, just some Posca paint pens and construction paper, coffee filter paper, which I haven't used yet, and then just cutting out shapes. Old books and just drawing on construction paper, painted paper, old books. I found an old history book from when I was growing up that I still had. So I have this little tin of papers. And the other thing that I want to share with you is that you can see these sheets here that are kind of drawn. I discovered when I was cleaning out a closet, I had these blank construction books from my kids, days when I was buying things back to school. And they were blank pages. And I didn't, I thought, oh, I'll save them for note taking. I wasn't crazy about the paper for writing on. But what I did find out, and you can see what I've done, I'm using this as a notebook to make collage paper. Write in the book, and then I'm leaving the paper in the book, and then cutting it out on the go when I want some paper. So I wanted to share this idea with you because it's so much fun to kind of flip through and make. I was really interested in having some big graphic letters in my collage, numbers. You can see that the paper's pretty thin, but once you glue it down, it looks a little buckly here, but it seems to really work. So I wanted to share this with you and show you this book because I think could be really fun. You could do a lot of different things with it, including, I like the black and white graphic, but you can see that you can just add a little. This is acrylic gouache on here, and it dries well, and the paper seems to hold up. And so I have a book full of all kinds of things that I've cut out, and I'm using in my sketchbook for collage. I've included some crayon, abstract shapes, patterns, stripes and dots, and just marks and texture. And it's a great little you know, on the go, if you want some collage and you don't want a whole bunch of stuff, it's just contained in these little books. So I just wanted to share that with you. Now, the books I found at Blick, and they are on Amazon. They're not that expensive. And they still make them, so they are still available. I'll link them in the description below so that you can, if you so desire, find a composition book. And you know, these composition books, I'm sure you can find them anywhere. But the key, I think, is that the pages are not lined, and that makes it useful for making collage material in it. So here's another one where got a little cutout tool, and I'm making different, cutting out some construction paper, making dots. I'm making grids and trying different shapes. I'm doing just collaging all these things together. Some pages are a little wilder than other pages. I'm finding some old paintings, cutting them out and reusing them. So that was an old painting, it became the vase. And then the other thing I think I'm seeing a trend in this is that I'm using some of these shapes. I would just sit, you know, maybe I have a podcast on or a movie on, and just, you know, making shapes and ideas for patterns that I can use. This is like a little compendium of marks and ideas for shapes that I can use as I'm going forward. And maybe I can drag it into other work. A recent video that I did just the other day, I released it, or today I released this video on prompts. And my youngest daughter is away from home, and she was making art, and she was showing me. And so we played a little game over the phone where she would tell me, draw 6 squares, or draw 3 words about what you're grateful for, draw a big blob shape. And we went back and forth, and it was a lot of fun. So prompts are also a way to play with, you know, your family, like, you know, just get people involved in your drawing process. So that was what that page was all about. Then again, working on these pieces of collage paper that I've made. I'm really just playing here with value and design, pattern, texture. Using these old cut-up magazines and books that I was showing you, and then these are hand-painted papers. And here are those big, bold graphic. This is how I used these. That you see, they add a lot of interest to a collage. There's just a lot of difference. This is big, that's small, light, dark, values. Just playing with all of that. And then this next few days after that, this is on the 18th, I started just trying to use up a lot of my materials with the acrylic wash that I had. I have a lot of leftover things, just trying to go through it. And then I started incorporating, you know, these collage bits in here. There's a lot of repetition, shapes, creating layers and layers of shapes and dots, and asymmetric writing. And then just going back to what do I know about patterns and shapes. I'm having a lot of fun with just creating these layers. There would be a layer of scraping color on, let it dry, and then keep adding layers on top of it. Graphite, more gouache, Posca pens, markers. And that's where I've ended. I've got about a quarter more of the sketchbook to go, but I wanted to share it with you because particularly I wanted to talk about this idea of these using these composition books for collage material. I think it's a really fun idea and I wanted to share it with you. So that's it for this sketchbook tour, and I hope that you have a fun, creative day. All right, thanks for watching. Bye.